Hello, everyone. Welcome to GNU according to CD, that is Government of National Unity. So, guys, there is a comment that I saw in my comment section, which actually made me giggle because just 3 days ago or so, if maybe not four, I was in an Uber coming from Santon going to where I live. And of course, as you guys already know, that most of our e-hailing business, it is run by Nigerians, also run by Zimbabweans, and few little South Africans. That is why the whole Bolt war that was going on in South Africa, it really didn't touch South Africans at all, but we are not there. So now this Nigerian guy, I mean, you can tell he's a Nigerian, even though he had a South African name to his ID. So usually, if your name and surname is Zulu, and I enter your Bolt or your Uber, I greet you in Zulu, and then I will start a conversation in Zulu. So in most cases, because our Ubers and Bolt are driven by Nigerians and other African foreigners, with South African names. This part always made me laugh. I will walk into or get into an Uber or get into a Bolt and I will greet in Zulu and then there'll be silence. In Zulu culture, when I greet you and you don't greet back, that is rude, like downright rude. So I usually become very assertive. I'm like, hey, Dr. Ngibungele," and there will still be silence. Then it will hit me. Oh, yeah, by the way, so now I entered this particular Uber like 4 days, I think it was 4 days ago. And then the guy, his name is Ezekiel or something like that. So I go in, Ezekiel, but the surname is not South African surname, so but it's one of those surnames. And so, okay, cool. I appreciate the honesty in this driver that is going to pick me up. But here I go into the vehicle and I greet in English. And of course, all nice and friendly. I always sit in front. I never sit at the back because I don't want the driver to feel any kind of threats by me. So I always take the front seat. And then, of course, we get talking about things, the weather and how we are expecting a cold front. I mean, I can tell this guy is Nigerian. His accent is giving it all away. And then he's like, yo, I'm thinking of going home. This is what he says. I'm thinking of going home this coming December. And I'm like, oh, okay, where's home? I'm asking, and it needs to be like, courteous and nice. He's like, oh, I'm going back to Accra, Ghana. I mean, if I was a train, I would have stopped on my track. And I'm like, you from Ghana? He's like, yeah, I'm from Ghana. And then I go, Atisang. I mean, the moment you go Atisang, you're supposed to be like, oh, you know some Twi? No. These guys had crickets. I mean, I knew crickets were going to ring in his head. And then he says something that is so not twee. Because you know why I know it's not twee? Because I hung out for at least 5 years with Ghanaian people and I kind of like picked up their dialect and I kind of picked up a lot about the Twi language. I know I'm pronouncing it incorrectly. I know it's spelled Twi, Twi, but it's actually Twi or something like that. That's how you pronounce it. And I almost burst out laughing. And I'm like, oh well, how long is it to go to Ghana? And I say to him, by the way, there's this place, I'm not quite sure, not far from Accra, Ghana. Because I know some few places, even though I've never been there. It's not far away from Accra, Ghana. Most of the what do you call this? Ashanti people are from there. I know even Accra, Ghana is Ashanti, but the Ashanti places. And the guy's head, you could literally hear crickets because he's supposed to have told me. It's like saying to me, "Yo, this province that is next to Gauteng. I mean, you can choose Limpopo, you can choose Northwest, you can choose Mpumalanga. You can even go as far as choosing the Free State." No, this guy's had crickets. So yes, there are more and more Nigerians that are claiming to be Ghanaians. I think if you think about it, it's a kind of a smart way of diverting any animosity that if you picked up a South African as an Uber or as a Bolt, you don't find yourself in a awkward position with the South African. I get it. It's a smart way of diverting whatever might happen between the two of you. But then I don't care. If you're Nigerian, you're Nigerian. All I want is to get to my destination. I couldn't care less. As a matter of fact, whatever is going on between South Africans and Nigerians, whatever it is, that is okay. Whatever it is, that is. But I do, however, have an issue with Nigerians that are in South Africa and throwing mud on our faces. And if you are a Uber driver or a Bolt driver, I so shangan, but I'm not gonna do anything, of course. I'm just gonna be looking at you like, all right, whatever, just get me to my destination. But yeah, the comment in the comment was quite correct. Many Nigerians are now claiming to be Ghanaians. Now, let me tell you something about Ghanaians, guys. Like I said, Ghanaians are the most amazing human beings here in South Africa. They are welcome in South Africa, and most of them they are legally in South Africa. And you know what I like about them as well? They always want to know, how do I legitimize my business? And then of course you give them all the advice of how to legitimize their business. Number one, registering your business with CIPRO. Number two, getting a tax clearance. And number three, making sure that you pay taxes to the taxman. And that's exactly what these guys are doing. If you go downtown Johannesburg and you see a stall with shoes, most of them they deal a lot with shoemaking, sandal making. All of my shoes and my sandals are bought in downtown Johannesburg in a Ghanaian shop. And you know what impresses me about these Ghanaian businessmen and women? They hire South Africans. You'll always find a South African or two that is going to help you choose your shoe. Maybe they'll fit in the pair that you want. If it's a pair that you like, but they don't have the size, this South African either lady or guy will take your measurements and then hand them over to the Ghanaian shoemaker. And then the shoemaker will tell you, okay, come back after maybe 4 hours or 3 hours, sometimes 2 hours, depending on the type of shoe they are going to make for you. I mean, it's a beautiful, beautiful relationship. It's with respect between the Ghanaian and the South African. And I mean, of course, I would speak to the South African and I'm like, so, how much do you get paid? It's like, well, these guys, they understand what minimum wage is here in South Africa, that it has to be 3,500 Rand. And then from there, like entry 3,500 Rand, and I get shocked every time when they tell me, oh, at least I do pick up 5,500. The highest that I've heard from a South African that gets paid by a Ghanaian was around 8,000 Rand. And I'm like, this is what we want in our country. We want people, when they come here, they don't come on selfish reason. They come here because they also want to contribute to the communities of South Africa. Whether you employ one South African or two, and you are the owner of a small business, trust and believe me, you are doing great. Guys, when you do go downtown Johannesburg and you are looking for a pair of sandals, there are a lot of those shops that you are going to see on Bree Street and GP Street and everywhere else. Wherever you see like a sandal shop and you see a guy uh, basically making those shoes or those sandals, please, whatever you do, patronize them, purchase their shoes around December time as well. The sandals are beautiful. They can even custom design them any way, anyhow you want to. All they do is go fetch the material wherever they fetch the material, and then they will create that shoe. And then let me tell you something: the shoes last for a very long time. I have shoes that I bought in 2017 to this very day. They are perfect. Nothing wrong with them. They are of quality. Even the material is of quality. So yeah, go patronize them, guys, and you will see what I'm talking about. There is always a South African that's working for them. There is always a South African working for them. I'm talking a pure South African, not some South African inverted commas. I'm talking a South African, South African. You can even converse with them. You will hear that these are South Africans. So the point that I'm trying to make here is it seems like Nigerians are now claiming to be Ghanaians to avoid I don't know, altercation or whatever. But I don't think they have anything to fear, especially when they pick up a South African citizen. I wouldn't imagine a South African being picked up by a Nigerian. Suddenly there's a fight inside that Uber going wherever they're going to. But at the same time, I guess I understand why they decided to say they are Ghanaians. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, there are Ghanaians as well that drive Ubers and Bolts. I've been in a Bolt and an Uber driven by Ghanaians before, and it's always a great conversation between us. And because I always like learning Twi, and in fact, it's one of the African languages that I love very, very much after Swahili. So yeah, definitely I did try my level best. I think they got to a time where I could almost understand what they are saying because I hung out a lot with Ghanaians before for 5 years. I mean, you will pick up a lot of things in 5 years. So it was quite interesting with my Uber ride. Yeah, you're right there. I forgot who you are, who just shared with me about Nigerians claiming to be Ghanaians here in South Africa. But other than that, I thought let me just say, hey, Nigerians, just be you. Be proudly Nigerian. Whatever is going on between South Africa and yourselves, as long as you're not contributing to the fire, you should be okay. And of course, if you're legally in South Africa, you should be okay. And you're running that Uber business or Bolt business legally, you should be okay. But the ones that I do have an issue with, even though I don't say anything, are the ones that are calling themselves Fiso Shabalala. And then when I walk into your Uber and I greet you and you say nothing, uh, yeah. Anyways, guys, I thought let me just share this with you. Please make sure not to leave this video without liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. And when you do subscribe, make sure to click the bell notification so that you get notified every time I upload a new video. I've been absent because I've been recovering from flu. I'm quite surprised that my voice is projecting right now, but it wasn't just for the past 2 days. That's why you haven't seen anything from me. Hopefully, I'll fully recover. See you soon. Bye.